adrenaline addiction, metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams chasing speed and money, engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins, run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Hit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn brother dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this afternoon from the beautiful North Wilkesboro Speedway. North Wilkesboro Speedway, the home of the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League here this afternoon. As these drivers get ready to go to battle, no points on the line. This is nothing but a preseason event here. Their shootout here, their Budweiser shootout, if you want to call it that, their Gatorade duels, whatever you want to call it here this afternoon. Nothing but fun, good driving, some great action out there on the speedway, and kind of getting into the swing of things again here and getting ready for their season opener next Sunday afternoon. As the racing action is about to commence, these drivers are getting their final laps in here of the practice session and then getting ready to jump out onto the speedway here for, a little qualifying out there on the track, and then we'll see them jumping out and getting ready to battle. 200 laps of racing action here from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Now, we may see a lot of action. We may see a lot of drivers, unfortunately, having problems out there on the speedway. We may see a ton of caution flags, or we may see a ton of green flag laps. Nonetheless, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's great to be a part of the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, a brand new league here on Peacemaker Gaming, and as their season gets kicked off here technically tonight with their preseason race, and the real season with the points and everything else on the line getting fired off next Sunday. If anyone's looking to join a nice, fun league, if you guys want to jump in and become part of the show, let me know and we can get you pointed in the right direction. There is Claytor right now. Claytor with the quick time here in practice. Aiden Lucas in position number 2. Matthew Wood, Noah Blackwell, Wyatt Mickelson, Benjamin Romano, Brian Underwood, Richard Rico, Jaden Porter, and Nick Biddy. Rounding out our top 10 here on the quick times here on the speedway. We do see Caden Gargiulo in the 97 ride. He's up in 11th. You see the beautiful number 37 machine out there on the speedway as well. That Majors Garage ride. That is Evan Stewart. Stewart rolls in position number 12. Keegan Huey, hopefully I'm saying that right. Joe David in Michael Ponder Jr. Rounding up the field here of a 15-car field, getting ready to duke it out, getting ready to go to battle here this afternoon. And right now, that errant number 39 ride looking fresh out there on the speedway. That's going to be an easy one to remember. the sponsor on that 39, right? As Aaron is obviously my name, so being the Aaron sponsor on that car, definitely going to make it fairly easy for us. And it's been a while since we saw, the Aaron's rides out there on the Speedway. We look back at, Michael Waltrip Racing way back in the day, and we look back when Talladega used to run the Aaron's 499 at Talladega Super Speedway. And, it's been a little while since we saw the Aaron's cars on any of these NASCAR rides, so pretty cool to see that out there on the Speedway. Michael Dickinson, Papa Mike coming in, showing that love with that heart reaction on the broadcast. How are you, Papa Mike? Coming in, showing the love here in this one. And my boy, Bubba coming in, setting it off over there on Twitch. Bubba coming in with that resubscribe. Says, let's go, baby. Resubscribing here. 21 months of being a subscriber here on Peacemaker Gaming. Absolutely insane, Bubba. Absolutely crazy. 21 months of being a subscriber over there on the Twitch live stream. That is absolutely wild, my boy. Absolutely wild. 16 months consecutive at tier 1 in being a subscriber for 21 months. That's absolutely wild. I think Papa Mike could beat you, though. Papa Mike, he's been a subscriber over there on the Facebook stream for quite a while. It's got to be at least 2 years or better now that Papa Mike and the Dickinson crew have been part of the Peacemaker Sub Club over there on Facebook, and obviously now being able to earn memberships over there on YouTube as well. We're starting to gain a lot of amazing members and more members of our Peacemaker Sub Club over there on the YouTube live streams as well. If you guys want to become a part of the Peacemaker Sub Club, a part of the Peacemakers members group, hit that join button. It should be right below the title of the stream, right beside where it says, I guess it wouldn't say analytics for you guys, right beside where it has our name, it should say join on there. Hit that join button, become part of the Peacemaker members group over there on YouTube, gain exclusive opportunities to not only game with me, also be in exclusive discords, and also be a part of the amazing Peacemaker Sub Club, a tight-knit community there. And obviously you get some amazing emotes over there as well on YouTube. I do believe now that we've hit 5,000, I haven't went through our creator dashboard over on Facebook, but I do believe there's a possibility that we may be able to get some emotes over there on Facebook as well. So we may have to input those and see if we get those approved and get all of our amazing subscribers the opportunity to, drop some emotes in the chat as well. Is Papa Mike coming in, showing the love here in this one. Now being the big D of the day with the 20-star dono over there on FB. I appreciate that, Papa Mike, showing the love here in this one. Dropping the 20 stars here this afternoon as we get ready to rumble. We get ready to go to battle here this evening. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be some great racing action. We're going to see some non-stop back and forth out there on the speedways. Qualifying has commenced. Drivers out there on the racetrack looking to try to lay down their quick times. We do see Brian Underwood. He's sitting up there against the fence. He hasn't gotten his lap in. We do see Benjamin Romano, Zach Claytor out there. Claytor in that 39. Ryan jumps up into third, as right now it's Aiden Lucas and Matthew Wood with the quick times here in qualifying. Romano now jumps into position number 10, knocking Richard Rico and Michael Ponder Jr. out of that top 10 right now, as Evan Stewart, Wyatt Mickelson, Brian Underwood all yet to lay lap times down here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. As we'll get ready to duke it out here once again. We'll get ready to go back to battle here this afternoon. Is what's good? Playford Cheats. Playford coming in, showing that love with the like on the stream. How are you, Playford Cheats, coming in, dropping that like on the stream. How you doing this afternoon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. As Savi, hopefully I'm saying that right. Savi says, sorry, it's not Richard Rico, it's Jaden Rico. Jaden Rico. Okay, I'll have to try to remember that. Jaden Rico, not Richard Rico. I know iRacing and SDK, it pops up as Richard Rico, so that's my fault. But we'll try to make sure we get that correct. Make sure that we remember that it's Jaden Rico out there in the number 5 ride as we get ready to rock and roll. We get ready to go to battle here in this one. Yo, Papa Mike setting it off again here, extending his big D of the day here this afternoon. It's growing. It's growing. The big D of the day, and trust me, I'm growing right now too. Not very much, but it's growing. It's growing. Starting to get a stiffy. No, I'm just kidding. As Papa Mike coming in again, not only with the 20-star dono, but setting it off with the 290-star dono over there on Facebook. Huge shout out there to Papa Mike, showing the big love here in this one. As hopefully I'm saying that right as well. Savi, hopefully I'm getting that right. I'm probably getting that completely wrong as well. Says, I'll fix it, I promise you. It's all good. It's all good. Bubba says, what the hell? Laugh out loud. What the hell is right, Bubba? What the hell is right? Okay, that was a little out of pocket. Maybe a little too far. We apologize for any of the younger viewers. That's an inside the pants joke right there. I meant an inside joke right there. As we'll get ready to rumble, we'll get ready to go to battle here this evening. The action is about to get fired off. The fun here this afternoon is about to get started. Papa Mike says, growing where? Growing where, he says? Oh, Papa Mike, you know where I'm growing. My waistline. I'm getting fat. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's a little bit below the waistline, brother. It's a little bit below that waistline. Then I'm growing, brother. Coming in, showing all the love like that. Come on now. It's hard not to get a little excited when Papa Mike comes in, spreading the love and dropping the big D of the day here on it. Says Kevin Timmy, my boy Bubba, coming in over there on Facebook as well, showing the love there with that heart reaction, showing the big love here this afternoon as well. I appreciate you, Bubba. I appreciate you, Papa Mike, coming in, showing the love here this evening, man. It's been a lot of fun. It's gonna be a great race already. I feel like this is gonna be a very, very fun afternoon. A very good battle out there on the racetrack. A lot of tough competitors, a lot of drivers that we're used to seeing Saturday nights here on the Premium NASCAR Racing League. I don't even know how many of these guys are part of that league here in this race. What do we got? We got Aiden Lucas, Matthew Wood. We got Noah Blackwell. Jaden Porter was for a while. Same with Caden Gargiulo, Benjamin Romano, Michael Ponder Jr., Wyatt Mickelson, Brian Underwood, Evan Stewart. We got like 10 drivers out of the 15 here that are part of our Saturday night series as well. So a lot of fun to be had. A lot of great drivers, a lot of great competitors. This is going to be very, very exciting to see how these drivers are going to be able to duke it out here this evening. And starting on the pole in the GOAT number 34 ride, that is Aiden Lucas. Lucas will start in that top spot to his outside. The Racers for Christ 21 ride here this afternoon. It's the 21 of Matthew Wood. Starting in position number 3 in the 39 ride, that is the Aaron's Machine of Zach Clayton. Claytor will start in that third spot to his outside. It's the Bad Dragon number 18 ride of Noah Blackwell. Starting in position number 5 in that 6th ride, that is Joe David into his outside. In that 32, it is Nick Biddy. Biddy will start there in that 6th position as Jaden Porter going to start in 7th in that 74 ride. The AG's Designs number 74 there in that 7th position to his outside. The Team Watson 97. It's Caden Gargiulo. Starting in position number 9, it is the number 9 ride of Benjamin Romano to his outside. The 38, that is Keegan Huey. Then we see Jaden Rico, Brian Underwood, Michael Ponder Jr., Evan Stewart, and Wyatt Mickelson bringing up the rear of the field as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from North Wilkesboro Speedway, and quickly out in front it's Matthew Wood, picking right up where he left off last night after our amazing race for our all-star event with the Premium NASCAR Racing League at Eldora Speedway. That 21 ride picking right up where he left off, and that's being at the front of the field in leading laps here in iRacing as Aiden Lucas trying to hunt him down. The 39 ride of Zach Claytor gonna stay in position number 3, but he gets a little contact right there. Gives a shot to the back bumper of the 34. Aiden Lucas somehow does not go around, saves that car, and keeps it pointing in the right direction. early contact, an early mistake right there as Claytor gets in a little too deep. Makes that heavy contact with the back end of that 34 ride and almost spinning Aiden Lucas around. That was almost our first caution flag of the day, but able to save it, able to drift his way down through corner number 1 and 2 and keep that car pointed in the right direction. Unfortunately, losing all that speed, all that momentum, slides back into that 5th position as Claytor right there in front of him, and Nick Biddy able to get around both of those drivers and Noah Blackwell. Both of these cats able to get right on by them and pick up a couple of spots there on the racetrack, and definitely happy about that one as now Noah Blackwell gets to try to hunt down that number 21 of Matthew Wood. As Wood out in front leading the way here in this one is Jaden Rico in that beautiful number 5 ride, trying to keep that car rolling to the front of the field as TJ's team number 5 ride rolling there in that 13th position as Evan Stewart in the Majors Garage ride, and there's a car turned around. Caution flag on the racetrack. An early caution flag as the Napa Auto Parts number 9 ride Benjamin Romano turned the wrong direction here, unfortunately pointing the wrong way on the racetrack. Stop there on the backstretch, and that will be our first caution flag of the day. Looks like he gets a little bent out of shape here. Maybe just stepping on it right here. Out of corner number 2. Looks like he steps on it, gets very loose. The car slides around, almost washing up back into traffic right there. Luckily enough, gets that car locked up. Comes to a stop there and avoids any additional contact or damage with the other competitors. And you see that 22 rider Michael Ponder Jr. able to avoid him and keep that Shell Pennzoil Joey Logano paint scheme clean and green out there on the speedway. As we'll get them ready to rock and roll, we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here as Papa Mike says, great save right there. That was a heck of a save, man. We may even have to go back and take another look at that one as Aiden Lucas, my gosh, that was a crazy slide for him out there, man, and I don't know how he was able to save that car. I don't know how he was able to keep that thing pointed in the right direction, but we're going to see that contact here. You'll watch that 39 ride, just unfortunately gets in there a little too far, ends up making contact with that right rear quarter panel, the right rear of that bumper, unfortunately just jacking that 34 car up, and you see him sideways here, sliding down through corner number 1, still sideways through the center of the corner. He's still trying to get this car pointed back in the right direction, trying to keep it out in front here. We're trying to keep it from going around, and luckily enough, saves that car. Let's see if we can play that back and jump on board with him, as there you go. You see him come 3 wide out of corner number 4 for a car that was just about to go around. I mean, that's a heck of a save and definitely not a spot you want to be in. Obviously, going 3 wide just after this save is there's the contact. Here he is sliding sideways, able to keep his wheel into it and keep that thing just rolling on the racetrack. And you see all these drivers going around him. He gets a little loose there, trying to avoid contact and getting run over again into corner number 3. Luckily enough, it will keep that car rolling on the racetrack, not being a part of that caution flag, and now sits back in that 5th position, getting ready to go back to battle, getting ready to duke it out here once again. As we'll get them ready to rock and roll, we'll get them ready to go to battle as Caboose Rashin coming in, showing the love. Caboose Racing since what's up, Peacemaker? What's up, baby? How are you? How are you, brother? How you doing this afternoon? Jimmy 6 times. What's good, Jimmy 6 times? Coming in showing the love, says, let's go. Brian Underwood cheering on Underwood out there on the speedway. So far, we've seen Underwood pick up quite a few spots right now. He is the hard charger out there on the speedway, and we see him in a totally different paint scheme here this afternoon. We see that number 77 ride. Normally, we see him in the 6 car. No longer in that 6 ride. He's in that Silverado Chevrolet, that number 77 ride, and he's back in position number 7 and looking to try to gain a couple more spots here as he's trying to keep that 97 up there on the outside lane, looking to see if he can get another spot out there on the racetrack and put himself up inside the top 6 on the racetrack. Is some great racing, some great battling out there on the speedway already, as it is the 21. It's normally the 16 for Matthew Wood. That's really going to throw me through a loop for a while here, trying to, memorize that he's not the 16 here in this series. He's the 21 car out there on the racetrack. Noah Blackwell, the 18 machine. We saw that virtual, the same paint scheme over at Eldora Speedway in the Premier Racing League last night. And that 18 ride looked very good there. Was able to come home with a solid podium finish, and now he's looking for the race lead early on here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's down low. Here comes Blackwell. Blackwell out of corner number 4 will make that move and take the race lead away from Matthew Wood. Wood slides back into position number 2, and for the first time here this afternoon, not leading a lap on the speedway. Nick Biddy right there as well in that 3rd position on the racetrack is Zach Claytor back there in position number 4 and looking for more in that Aaron's number 39. The 34 ride right there behind him, that's Aiden Lucas. Rounding out our top 5 on the racetrack is Caden Gargiulo in that Team Watson 97 machine, sits back in position number 6. Brian Underwood there in 7th with Joe David back in that 8th spot in that 6th ride out there on the speedway. Keegan Huey there in position number 9 with Evan Stewart rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack. Jaden Porter there in 11th in that 74 ride with Wyatt Mickelson back there in the 51. Then we see Jaden Rico in that 5 ride rolling there in that 13th position. Benjamin Romano back in 14th and bringing up the rear of the field. In the 22 ride, he's going to go around loose out of corner number 4. Hard contact with that inside fence. Heavy left front damage here for that Pennzoil number 22 ride. No caution flag on the racetrack. We keep it clean and green out there on the speedway. But now heavy damage here for Michael Potter Jr. Definitely not where he wants to be here this afternoon at the back of the pack. Now with damage, definitely going to be struggling here until potentially a caution flag flies where he can head down pit side and get that repair done and get that car back out there onto the racetrack. If you pit during the green flag, you're probably going to go at least a lap or 2 down, maybe even 3 out there on the speedway if you got to stay down there for an extended period of time with either a penalty or trying to get those repairs done. So for that Shell Pennzoil 22 ride, definitely not the spot to be here this afternoon. As Caboose says, let's go 38. Cheering on the 38 ride here this afternoon is Keegan Huey back there in that 38 ride, the Lincoln Park number 38 machine. Great band. Lincoln Park, who doesn't like Lincoln Park? That's the big question. Rolling there just inside our top 10. Rolling there in that 10th position and rounding out the top 10 here this afternoon as you see a little bit of a battle brewing back there behind him. Wyatt Mickelson trying to use the outside lane, trying to roll around Jaden Porter here. Porter continued to work down through his inside, and here comes the other Jaden out there on the racetrack. It's Jaden Rico right there looking to join that battle. Same with the 9 rider, Benjamin Romano, as he rolls there in that 14th position. But out in front, it is the 18 of Noah Blackwell. Blackwell leading this race. Matthew Wood sticking right there with him, right on his back bumper out there on the speedway. They're starting to separate themselves a little bit from our 3rd place driver as Nick Biddy about 1.3 seconds behind our race leader now on the racetrack. So just over a second back there behind our race leaders is that 32 ride as he's looking to try to keep that car rolling in position number 3. Aiden Lucas, though, looking to try to race his way back up to the front of the field, was able to get around Zach Claytor, and now you see that 77 of Brian Underwood looking to join the top 5. And down across the line, Brian Underwood from 13th will now race his way into that 5th position, marching through the field, racing his way up to the front of the pack, and now looking to try to join this battle for position number 3 on the speedway. As Jimmy 6 times says, Wood and Underwood used to be the 77 and the 21. Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense then. I appreciate that coming in and giving us the little inside scoop, that little bit of extra knowledge right there, and knowing, some of those drivers that are out there on the speedway and what numbers they used to run compared to what they run now in that premium stock car racing league. So cool to see Underwood back in the 77. Cool to see Aiden there in that 34. And Matthew obviously in that number 21 out there on the speedway. As Zach coming in says, let's go Caden. Cheering on Caden Gargiulo as Gargiulo back there in position number 7 in that 97 ride. Now he's got that 37 starting to put a little bit of pressure there on his back bumper as Evan Stewart trying to march his way up through the field here as well. Stewart started back at the rear of the field in that 15th position, and he's now inside the top 10, rolls there in that 8th spot and looking to continue to race his way up towards the front of the field as you see that 39 as Zach Claytor unfortunately falling farther behind here. Same with Aiden Lucas as Lucas falls back into position number 5 on the racetrack is Brian Underwood, able to get around him and quickly. Underwood in that 77, that beautiful Camaro, the Chevrolet, rolling out there on the speedway. Use that high side lane, getting some great runs and some great drive down these straightaways, and already looking to try to slide up inside the top 3 on the speedway. Door to door for position number 3, as Underwood will take that spot just down across the line as the Nick Biddy Designs number 32 ride will fall back into that 4th position, but quickly trying to hit him with the crossover here, looking to try to take that inside lane back away from the 77, not wanting to give it up easily, and now driving the 77 maybe up a little bit high there in corner number 3 and 4. They're still door to door for that 3rd spot on the racetrack. Some great racing here in this one, as Jimmy 6-time says, I'm going to sponsor Ponder so I get guaranteed TV time when he wrecks. Big brain. Big brain right there, Josh. Big mother fluffing brain right there. That's 100% guaranteed TV time out there, as we did see Michael Ponder Jr. unfortunately take that Pennzoil 22 ride down pit side to get those repairs, and now he is the first and only driver at least a lap, potentially 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. So a tough break there for that 22 ride, as he's at the back of the pack looking to try to get back up there and keep on rolling. As Michael Dickens and Papa Mike says, I'm impressed he didn't panic and oversteer. Yeah, that's a big thing here with these NASCAR rides. Normally we see these cars, unfortunately, you kind of get into that little bit of a panic. You're trying to counter steer it. You're trying to keep yourself from going around. And unfortunately, once you start cranking that wheel the opposite direction, it doesn't take much for those wheels to all of a sudden kind of balance itself back out. The car will basically snap back to dead straight at some point. And if your wheel, unfortunately, is pointed, quarter of an inch, a couple inches to the right, we've seen numerous times these cars will just snap, hook around it up into the outside fence. And that was a great piece of driving and a great save there by Aiden Lucas. And that just shows you how good he is, especially how good he's been getting over, weeks after weeks of racing in the Premium Stock Car Racing League on Saturday afternoons, as he has won the last 4 races in a row, excluding last night's race. He wasn't in attendance, and it was just their all-star break, so no points. But the last 4 points races there in the Premium Stock Car Racing League, that 34 ride has won the last 4 races in a row, and he has been on a tear there in the Premium Stock Car Racing League, and he is not looking to slow down anytime soon over there, and he's hoping to carry that momentum straight on through here to Sunday nights, and hoping to put together some great races and maybe a good string of wins just like that here in this series as well, and look for a couple championships here on the year. As Noah Blackwell out in front, though, he's feeling good. That Bad Dragon 18 ride out in front, feeling very spicy out there on the speedway, is Mama Bear coming in, showing the love here in this one. How are you, Mama Bear? Mama Bear says, come on, number 16, Woods, coming in showing the love. Papa Mike says, glad you said something. I didn't know who to cheer for. Yeah, she normally cheers for Matthew Wood. It's Wood, not Woods, Mama Bear. Wood, Matthew Wood out there. And unfortunately here in this series, no longer the 16 riders. Look out, our race leader running into problems. Blackwell up into the outside fence. Heavy right side damage on that 18 ride. Oh, brother, not what Noah Blackwell wanted to happen here this afternoon, especially this early in the race. No caution flag, a busted up right front tire. He's going to have to try to head down pit side. That car does not want to turn at all, and here he comes. Going from first all the way back now, probably into about that 14th position, as the rest of the field rolling right on around him. And unfortunately, you see that tire just busted up, went in the wrong direction. He's going to have to head down into his pit stall. Now he's going to have to hope to see this one go clean and green, and potentially see these drivers have to come down pit side for some green flag pit stops, where he could potentially cycle things back out and maybe end up with a good break and a timely caution flag during those green flag pit stops out there. But right now, he does find himself at least a lap down, potentially going to go 2 laps down, as here comes that 21 of Matthew Wood, catching up to him in a quick hurry out there on the speedway, as Wood will consume that race lead lead here once again, but let's play this back and see what happened here as Matthew Wood was back there behind him, but you watch that 18 ride. Noah Blackwell just coming out of corner number 4. Looks like the rear end maybe going to step out just ever so slightly, and here's that counter steer that we were talking about. Unfortunately, trying to keep that car pointed the right direction, and the car just snap hooks up into the outside fence, and that heavy right front damage there for the 18 ride. Good heads up racing right there for the Racers for Christ 21 ride. Just realizing it, seeing what was happening, and able to avoid driving in there and getting contact himself. As watch the hands of this 18 machine. There you go. There's the counter steer right there. You saw it perfectly here in the driver webcam as you watch these drivers. He starts to get onto the throttle. You see those RPMs coming up. The rear end slips out on him. And now you see that wheel completely cranked to the right. The car basically straightens out and just automatically hooks to the right there up into the outside fence. Heavy damage there for Blackwell, and definitely not the way he wanted things to go. And now going from the race lead now back into that 13th position is Caden Gargiulo. Gargiulo, unfortunately, off the racetrack now. Caden Gargiulo has disappeared, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, a heartbreaker here for the Team Watson Sim Racing, the Team Watson Racing Setups 97 ride. Doesn't look like any damage on this car, but he does come down pit road. And all of a sudden, he is just going to leave this race. I don't know what happened or why the 97 left, but unfortunately for Caden Gargiulo, he's not going to come to an early close as he pulls it down into the pit box here and unfortunately exits this race. That is a heartbreaker there for that number 97 ride. For all of his fans in the stands, now not being able to see him out there on the speedway. As Matthew Wood leads this race, 2.2 seconds. The difference between himself and Brian Underwood is Underwood now into position number 2. Nick Biddy back there in 3rd with Aiden Lucas rolling in position number 4, and now once again looking for more out there on the racetrack. Zach Glater back there in that 5th position in the Aaron's 39 ride with Evan Stewart there in 6th. Wyatt Mickelson now up into 7th in that HendrickCars.com number 51 machine. Keegan Huey there in 8th with Joe David rounding out our top 9, and Benjamin Romano rounding out our top 10 as the caution flag will fly here on the speedway. Jaden Porter and Jaden Rico rounding out our lead lap drivers as Noah Blackwell hoping to see that caution flag. Really want to see that one and hopefully trying to get that wave around and potentially back onto the lead lap here and try to salvage his day after that heavy contact down the front straightaway. But it's Matthew Wood who's able to keep that 21 ride out in front. Now going to head down pit side. I do believe that caution flag was for a stage break right there. I do believe stage breaks here in this shootout race as well. Let me double check it. Let me make sure. I do believe these are the stage breaks for these drivers here this afternoon. Now, I do believe that every race will have these stage breaks here at North Wilkesboro. Also going to have these stages as well. These drivers have 4 sets of tires back there behind pit wall. So, lap 50, lap 100, we will see these stage breaks. This is a 200-lap race, so a lot of time for, trying to rebound, trying to drive yourself back up through the field, trying to get back into the battles here on the racetrack. As we do appreciate Mama Bear, Susie Dickinson coming in, showing the love here with that heart reaction, and Jeff Dickinson also coming in, showing the love. How are you, Jeff? Jeff coming in with that heart reaction here as well. As Mama Bear says, I cheer for him all the time. Mama Bear does cheer for Matthew Wood very often out there on the racetrack, and you're the same as me, Mama Bear. It's weird not seeing Matthew out there in that 16 ride as the Racers for Christ 21 of Matthew Wood continues to lead this race. A good pit stop right there, able to keep himself out in front as Jaden Rico will get used to this. His first league race and youngest driver in the league. That's awesome. That is awesome right there. How old is Jaden? How old is Jaden out there? If you don't mind me asking, as it's always fun and it's always amazing to see, the younger generations obviously showing so much interest in motorsports, but also being able to get in here, have some fun, and learn from such a young age on, how the sim works and how racing works and everything else, and improving and getting better, and through the years seeing their growth not only out there on the racetrack but as a human being. And it's always amazing to see, and we've seen that a lot here for a lot of these drivers. We look back to last year, we talked about a little bit last night, you know, that number 18 ride of Noah Blackwell. Blackwell used to be a bit of a troublemaker, used to be the bad boy out there in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Definitely got himself into a lot of trouble, had a couple time outs over there, and, you know, he's definitely matured quite a bit over the last year and a bit and continuing to get better and better, as Jimmy 6-time says. Brian is saving as there's contact back there behind him. Around goes the 51 ride, a heartbreaker there for the Wyatt Mickelson fans in the stands as he goes around. It unfortunately looks like Keegan Huey gonna get some damage out of that as well. Let's take a look here and see what happens as contact down here. The 51 up on the high side. Rolling about that 6th, 7th position. Looks like the 38 just gets in there a little bit too hard. Unfortunately, you see that car lock up that left front tire here on corner entry. See the smoke right there already rolling out of that thing. And unfortunately, he's going to get in there a little bit too far. Ends up making contact here with the 51 right, spinning him around. And pretty good contact for both drivers here as you see him lock it up right there. Still carrying too much speed. Unfortunately, washes up the racetrack. Too much speed here, gets into that left rear quarter panel of the 51. That spins Mickelson around, and the 6 right gives the 38 a shot as he gets back up into the 51 right. Heavy contact there for that left rear quarter panel and for the front end of the 38. And obviously damage getting up into that outside fence as well as these two get tied together down through corner 3 and out of corner number 4. As Sauve, hopefully I'm getting that right. Sauve or whatever you want to call, you want me to call you over there on Twitch. I know Twitch is very, very weird with their names. It's one of the reasons why I never really push Twitch too much is that the names are so sporadic. It's so hard to you don't feel personal with the community over there on Twitch, and definitely trying to get all those names right. But coming in and letting us know that Jaden Rico, only 15 years old. So for that 5 ride of Jaden Rico out there on the speedway, 15 years old, 15 years young, honestly. That's half my age out there on the simulator, getting some good sim time in behind the driver's seat and experiencing the real-life NASCAR racing here on the simulator. As Mama Bear says, let's go Wood, cheering on that 21 ride is my boy, Duke Guy. What's good, Duke Guy? Duke Guy coming in, showing the love. What's good, homie? How are you, brother? How you doing this afternoon? How's your weekend? How's your weekend, dude? Hopefully you're having yourself a good night. I saw something you posted there the other day talking about how your young lad was making you guys freaking grilled cheese sandwiches there at night. He was cooking them at night. Just like how Shane Gillis' uncle does it. He was cooking them at night. They're technically really morning, 5 a.m. Definitely very early, but definitely, you know, after a night of drinking or hanging out or whatever else, man, a good old grilled cheese sandwich, a greasy grilled cheese sandwich really gets you going. As here you go, we get going here again on the Speedway as the Racers for Christ number 21 of Matthew Wood continues to lead the way. Ryan Underwood down low. He's going to try to stay in position number 2, but you see that 34 ride of Aiden Lucas starting to roll that outside lane pretty solidly. And look out, the 77 ride of Brian Underwood almost going around right there. Another great save out of these drivers up at the front of the field as watch this car gets onto the throttle on corner exit and it steps out on him. Most drivers, a lot of drivers would end up going around or they would overcorrect that car like we saw the 18 ride do and shoot back up the racetrack into the outside fence. He was able to get that car pointed back in the right direction, keeps it rolling, keeps it streaming down the back straightaway here. Unfortunately, though, does lose a ton of momentum having to roll out of that throttle, and Brian Underwood falls all the way back now as we do see him run into some more problems here. Underwood continues to slide backwards here. He ends up off the racetrack after that save. Maybe a little contact here from Nick Biddy. Biddy back there behind him, the 18 ride trying to get up there as well. No, it looks like he may have gotten those tires a little too hot. And back next time around. He saved it the first time, second time, not so lucky. Rear end steps out, car shoots down the racetrack here. This time he's going to go for a little bit of a ride down through the grass here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And unfortunately, not the way he wanted things to go there, and he slides from inside the second spot there all the way back now into that 12th position. Not the way he wanted things to go out there on the speedways. Now we do see another driver run into problems. Benjamin Romano goes off the racetrack here. Now he's sliding backwards down in the infield. Oh, brother, driver's really starting to run into problems here, and we got a slew of action to really see as here we go. Back onto the throttle, loses that rear end, washes down the racetrack, but does a great job saving it from hitting that inside fence. Able to keep that car rolling right there, able to keep it. Wow, that transfer going from the grass back onto the racetrack right there. Definitely getting that car a little bit more skewed. Able to keep his foot in the throttle though and keep that car rolling. No caution flag, but does fall all the way back into that 13th position as drivers really starting to run into some problems out there on the racetrack as we see a new race leader as Aiden Lucas. Lucas now into the top spot. So Aiden Lucas now out in front here with Zach Glater back into position number 2. That 21 rider, Matthew Wood, back into 3rd here as Evan Stewart there in 4th. Then we see Nick Biddy there in that 5th spot as Noah Blackwell, Joe David, Jaden Porter, Keegan Huey, Brian Underwood round out our top 10. That's where we see Jaden Rico, Wyatt Mickelson, Benjamin Romano, Michael Ponder Jr., who's now taking his car off the racetrack, and Caden Gargiulo also still off the speedway here as well. So a tough break for Michael Ponder Jr. and Caden Gargiulo. Looks like potentially both exiting this race early here this evening. As out in front, it's Aiden Lucas who continues to lead the way, looking to try to pick up stage win number 2 here this afternoon. But that Aaron's number 39 ride putting the pressure onto his back bumper as Zach Glater looking to try to take that race lead away. He is right there, only a couple car lengths in between our top 2 competitors out there on the speedway. And now we see that Majors Garage number 37 of Evan Stewart. Stewart jumps up into 3rd here, making some moves as Matthew Wood continues to slide backwards. Potentially a little bit of a pit strategy call right there. Potentially fresher tires now in front of the 21 and maybe trying to save an extra set for late in this race, or maybe just trying to take it easy out there on the speedway right now. Maybe just trying to save those tires for later in this run and now trying to maybe race his way slowly but surely as these laps click down. Back up towards the front here to look and see if he can race his way into another stage win out there on the racetrack, trying to win both stages here this afternoon. Now, there's no stage points. There's no points here this afternoon, so the stages are fairly meaningless here in this race, except for a little pride and a little bit of comfort out there on the racetrack, knowing that you can't get it done. Your strategies are working out, and that potentially, you know, in our future events here throughout the regular season and the playoffs, that you can be able to earn those extra points and those bonus points towards the playoffs out there on the racetrack. So maybe a little pride, a little bit of trial and error out there on the speedway. And right now for Matthew Wood, he knows that the game plan is just to try to win this shootout, win this race, win the shootout, get off to a hot start here in the series, and, you know, make it known that you're going to be potentially the car to beat if you can put yourself at the front of the field and win this race. Our pre-race here to the regular season that gets underway next Sunday here on Peacemaker Gaming, as Aiden Lucas out in front, still showing these drivers that he's got a very fast car, and after winning 4 races in a row in the Premium Stock Car Racing League, a lot of those competitors in attendance here this afternoon, either watching or racing him here this evening, and they know that this 34 ride that we normally see over there in the Premium Stock Car Racing League, he is one tough cookie to beat, especially right now. But he's got some new competitors, some new fast cats out there on the speedway that are going to be looking to try to knock him off the top spot and looking to try to keep him back there behind them throughout this season. So it's going to create for some great racing, a lot of great battles out there on the racetrack, and it's going to continue to be a lot of fun out there on the speedway. As Jimmy 6 says Brian is saving, look out Wood. Ooh, baby, I don't know. Brian's definitely saving now, but trying to race his way back up through the field, and so far has been able to do a great jump after losing that rear end there a couple times. He now rolls in position number 7 once again in that 77 ride, as he's trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field. You do see Jaden Porter a little farther back there in that 74 ride. Keegan Huey there in 9th. Joe David rolls there in position number 10 with Benjamin Romano, Wyatt Mickelson, and Jaden Rico there in that 13th position. Now, they're going to have to be a little careful here. They're about 9 seconds back from our race leader here in Aiden Lucas. He's about half a speedway away from potentially running into those drivers and potentially having some, potentially having some lap traffic to deal with, but we may get that stage break beforehand. I think that's what a lot of these drivers are looking forward to, really hoping that they see that caution flag for the stage break there at lap 100 come out before this race leader catches them, before they go a lap down out there on the speedway. As Original Days coming in with that subscription over on YouTube as well. Original Days, welcome to the Peacemaker family. Welcome to the Peacemaker crew coming in, dropping that sub over there on the YouTube broadcast. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a huge favor here right now. Before we hit that halfway marker, before stage 2 comes to a close, hit that like button for us. Hit the thumbs up button on the broadcast. Hit that share. Hit that follow. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. As these guys put on a great race, some great battles out there on the speedway. Each and every one of them looking at trying to put themselves into victory lane, but we're going to have to wait and see how the strategies will play out here this afternoon. Only 4 sets of tires down there behind pit wall. Maybe trying to save a set for late in this race. If we get that late race caution flag, there's not a lot of cars out there, so not a lot of traffic that you may have to try to race your way through. And if you're in position, you can potentially throw that extra set on, have the freshest tires on the racetrack, and just drive right on by everybody else. It could be a huge gamble. It could be a big brain play out there on the speedway. And for each and every one of these cats, it's definitely going to be in the back of their mind in what they need to do to try to put themselves up and into victory lane, to have that best strategy, to have that best run out there on the racetrack. As you're starting to see some of that battle, and back there behind our race leader as Aiden Lucas leads the way. Zach Clater there in second. Evan Stewart still hanging on to third here, but starting to feel that pressure as here comes Nick Biddy in that NBD machine. The Nick Biddy Designs ride rolls there in position number 4 with Matthew Wood there in 5th. Wood starting to put the pressure back onto the rear bumper of that 32 ride. We may see Wood with some, better tire management out there, maybe trying to race his way back up through this top 5 and seeing if he can try to win stage number 2 here and clean sweep our stages this afternoon, as it was looking like Noah Blackwell was going to be on cruise control and potentially try to pick up that stage 1 win here this afternoon before his mistake down out at corner number 4 and hard contact to the outside fence. Luckily enough, he was able to get that caution flag at lap number 50 for the stage break, able to get that lucky dog the free pass, and now going to back into things here. He rolls in that 6th position. Now he does have older tires here, and maybe that's, contributing to him not racing up inside the top 5. Is look out, Matthew Wood around. Matthew Wood down through the grass here. Unfortunately, Wood battling there for that 4th position. Now going to go around, now down low here on the speedway and back into that 7th position. As watch this 21 ride. Looking for a big run, looks to the outside, now tries to cut down to the inside. Unfortunately, just looking for a big run, trying to get to the inside of that 32. And he is going to go around late here in stage number 2 of the afternoon. Maybe getting a little piece of that grass right there, helping to lose that rear end, putting a little dirt, grime, and grass onto those back tires never helps, and unfortunately out at corner number 2 just loses that rear end. You see him get onto the binders here, trying to keep that car out of the inside fence. Does a great job of it, but unfortunately down off the racetrack, never sees that caution flag fly. Now sits back in that 7th position, and unfortunately definitely not where he wants to be, as Aiden Lucas out in front looking to try to pick up this stage win. The 34 ride up on the high side, rolling down across the line. We'll click up another lap, and we've only got about 6 laps left to go here before this stage comes to a close. The 39 ride trying to put some pressure onto his back bumper, trying to roll a little harder out there on the outside lane. Does get a piece of that outside fence here, as the 39 of Zach Clater there in position number 2. Here comes Evan Stewart. Stewart down low here, looking, trying to find a run underneath that 39 ride, seeing if he can gain an extra spot. And if this was a points race, it would give him potentially an extra point out there on the racetrack to put into his back pocket. Nick Biddy there in that number 32 rolls in that 4th position, as Noah Blackwell now inside the top 5. Brian Underwood back into that 6th spot here on the racetrack, and a little farther back behind them you do see that 21 ride of Matthew Wood, as Wood rolls there in 7th. Mickelson, they're in 8th with Jaden Porter back in 9th, and Keegan Huey in the 38 now rolls in that 10th position. Joe David there in 11th with Benjamin Romano and Jaden Rico rounding out our top 13 out there on the speedway. As unfortunately Michael Ponder Jr. and Caden Gargiulo have already loaded up their rides and taken them off of the racetrack there, and they will be scored in that 14th and 15th spot here this evening as Aiden Lucas down across the line going to click off another lap, and we inch that much closer to seeing this caution flag come back out and to see this second stage come to a close. Now, once again, this is a preseason race, a preseason event, their Budweiser shootout. No points, all glory here this afternoon for these drivers. So being able to pick up these stage wins is not going to help you out. It's not going to give you any extra points or bonus points towards the playoffs, but it can boost your confidence quite a bit out there and definitely set the tone here for the season. Is that number 34 down at corner number 4 across the line? We will see lap 100 up and onto the board here. So lap 100 now out there on the racetrack as the 34 ride leads the way. Our final lap here in stage number 2 as Zach Claytor tries to hunt him down half a second down the back straightaway. The gap between first and second is out of corner number 4. It's Aiden Lucas. Lucas will win stage number 2 here this afternoon. Zach Claytor there in second. Nick Biddy back in third. Evan Stewart there in fourth with Noah Blackwell rounding out our top 5. Brian Underwood there in 6th with Matthew Wood. Wyatt Mickelson, Jaden Porter, Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10 as the caution flag finally comes out there as our 10th place driver crosses the line here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. If this was regular season, if there were points on the line, all 10 of those drivers would have earned themselves some extra points towards the championship here this afternoon. Unfortunately, Benjamin Romano, Jaden Rico, and Joe David unfortunately would have ended up with no extra points there. Same with Michael Ponder Jr. and Caden Gargiulo, as we do see these drivers head down pit side. And now maybe a bit of a mistake here out of Joe David and Richard Rico. They were supposed to catch up to the rear of the field here before coming down pit side. They were supposed to come down pit side with everybody else. They trailed in behind these two. And with the pace car going around them out there on the speedway, that could potentially put the 6 ride and the 5 ride a lap down out there on the racetrack. iRacing may not let them go back around the official iRacing pace car. I'm not sure how they're going to score that. They may put them a lap down and may keep them trapped back there until another caution flag maybe potentially coming out in front of Aiden Lucas and the rest of the field. Maybe that will keep them in front of them, and as the pace car pulls off, maybe they'll get the wave around and get back onto the lead lap that way. I'm not sure how this is going to play out or how iRacing is going to handle that situation with those two coming down pit road too early here on the speedways. There you go. You do see them. They're scored back in 12th and 13th on the racetrack, back behind the official iRacing pace car. See if they either get the wave around or see if they are able to stay up there. iRacing may force them to go to the rear of the field, going a lap down under the caution flank here. Not sure how that's going to work out for them. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, how that gets underway here for these drivers, but definitely a mistake that they did not want to see. They just had to keep their foot in the throttle, roll another lap, as you do see the number 9 rider, Benjamin Romano, making a additional pit stop here. Taking that Napa Auto Parts number 9 ride, that Chase Elliott paint scheme machine, back down pit side here, looking to get some more work done to that 9 ride, potentially getting some extra fuel, making sure that thing is really topped up, and maybe forgetting to put tires on that 9 machine. Now looks like he's going to get jacked up in a fresh set out there onto the speedway. So bit of a mistake there as well, as he's going to give up a lot of track position by not completing that entire pit stop. As here we go, you did see the 6 of Joe David and that 5 rider Richard Jaden Rico both getting the wave around here. They're both going to try to hunt down our race leaders. You'll see that 9 ride rolling back out there as well, but down across the start finish line, we are back to green flag racing. So the green flag back into the air. Zach Claytor looking for the race lead as he rolls the outside of that 34 of Aiden Lucas. Lucas down low, the 39 of Claytor up on the high side. Here comes Nick Biddy. You see the 77 go up a little bit high there. 3 wide down across the line. 3 wide right there as Brian Underwood, unfortunately, too high up on the racetrack at a corner number 4, and unfortunately slides back behind both the 18 and the 21. But now Matthew Wood getting a little bit loose there. on corner exit once again, and now we see contact here between our second and third place drivers. Heavy contact there for Zach Glater. He gets up into the outside fence. He will go around, and the caution flag will come back out. So cautions breeding cautions here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And for the Aaron's 39 ride, pointing the wrong direction, and joining him there on the front stretch is that 21 of Matthew Wood. Both drivers having problems out there on the speedway. Let's take a look back at it as the 32 ride down low, trying to take that second spot away from him. Tight down out at corner number 4. Looks like he's just going to push up the racetrack right there. Getting back onto the throttle a little sooner than that 39. The 39 maybe trying to cut down the racetrack as well. Unfortunately, they made contact right into that left rear quarter panel of the 39 ride. He's trying to save it, trying to keep that car pointing in the right direction, but then he's going to get tagged right there again by that 32 ride. Heavy front end damage for both drivers, and that's going to shove that 39 up and into the outside wall. Heavy contact right there for him, but good heads up driving. Everyone else able to avoid him, but we do see Matthew Wood here. He gets turned in. I don't think there's a lot of drivers that are as lucky here as the 32, and looks like the 21 trying to avoid him there, locks up the brakes. I think he thought that 32 car was coming down the racetrack and was going to go down in front of him right here. You're going to see him really stamp the brakes here in just a couple seconds. Right there, he jabs the brakes, and that just gets the car unsettled, starts to go around, sliding there on the racetrack. He has it locked up. Brian Underwood doesn't realize that. He ends up getting into the back of him there, helping him go around, pushes him up the racetrack, and look at Jaden Porter trying to get that car checked up, trying to avoid contact with him. Unfortunately, does get a pretty good piece of him right there, and some heavy right front damage now for that AG's Design 74 ride out there on the speedways. A couple tore up race cars here after that second stage came to a close. A little craziness start to unfold here at North Wilkesboro Speedway as we inch closer and closer to our checkered flag here this evening. Things definitely heating up out there on the racetrack as Mama Bear says, let's go Wood, and says, come on Wood, get back up there, get back up there. He's going to need some more cheering on here, Mama Bear, as he's going to be starting deep in the field here for this restart. Definitely a tough break out there for the 31, tough break out there for the 21, tough break for the 32, the 74, and that number 39 ride as they end up with some pretty good damage out there on the racetrack, and we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, and look who's back up into position number 2 now after that caution flag. The 18 of Noah Blackwell rebounding perfectly here this afternoon and has that Auto Value Parts Store number 18 machine back into position number 2. He's going to be looking to try to get back out in front, looking for this race lead once again here as Aiden Lucas quickly onto the loud pedals. We go back to Green Flag Racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The 34 of Lucas looking to try to hold off that 18 ride as Noah Blackwell looking for the race lead down the back straightaway there, door to door, out in front. Aiden down low, Noah up on the high side, door to door, still out at corner number 4. They make contact. Oh, race leader up into the outside fence, and around goes Aiden Lucas. Aiden gets turned around off the bumper of the 18, and the caution flag will be displayed here once again. Heavy damage for both drivers. Aiden trying to keep that 18 right back there at bay. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if he's going to travel up the racetrack right here where the 18 ride gets a little loose and comes down. You kind of see them both converging here on corner exit. I think the 34 was trying to get clear of him, trying to get to the outside here and trying to keep that 18 right at bay, and there we go. You do see the 18. Looks like that rear end going to kick out just ever so slightly right there. Gets loose, trying to get back onto the throttle. The car comes down the racetrack into that right rear quarter panel of that 34 ride, and that slams both of them up into the outside fence. Heavy right side damage again for the 18 and front end damage, and you see that 34 ride not only getting damage there from the contact to the 18, but also damage from getting into that outside fence, and unfortunately not the way Aiden Lucas wanted to see that restart go. Definitely wanted to try to hold off that 18 ride, but definitely did not want to see the two of them get tied together and go around out there on the speedways. Let's jump on board and take a look on board with that 34 as here's the contact right there. Gets turned up into the outside fence, and unfortunately heavy damage there for both of those cats. Two drivers out in front, now going to go to the rear of the field here as doesn't look like Blackwell actually going to come down pit side, even with that damage to that 18. Looks like he's going to stay out there on the speedway. Must feel that car didn't have too much damage out there on the racetrack as Brian Underwood was able to get around both of them before that caution flag was thrown in the 77 of Brian Underwood from 13th, now out in front and leading this race. Underwood looking to try to be the Undertaker here this afternoon and put this race to bed here this evening as he looks to try to put himself into victory lane here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Noah Blackwell back there in second with that damage as Nick Biddy, Evan Stewart, and Jaden Porter in the AG's Designs number 74 ride now rounding out our top 5 on the racetrack. Wyatt Mickelson, Keegan Huey, Benjamin Romano, Joe David, and Matthew Wood rounding out the top 10 as Aiden Luke is back there in 11th. Zach Clater there in position number 12, and now unfortunately being shown as a lap down is the number 5 of Jaden Rico. Rico looking to try to get himself back onto the lead lap here in this race, hoping to see maybe another caution flag, another free pass and wave around to try to get him back onto the lead lap here this evening. As out in front, Noah Blackwell and Brian Underwood, 1 and 2 on the speedway. The lights are off the official iRacing pace car, and we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here in the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Alrighty, caution flag going to come out here during our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here. The Peacemaker Crank It Up caution flag, the Crank It Up curse going to continue here this evening as we'll take a look back and see what happens as it looks like the number 39 ride going to run into some more issues. The Aaron's Toyota of Zach Clater going to run into some problems here. Looks like he's rolling down low, potentially. Looks like he's going to lose the rear end here. Coming out of corner number 4, just going to step on it right there, and unfortunately that car goes around, pointed the wrong direction. Our flag man sitting there staring at it. The car pointed the wrong way there on the racetrack, stopped on the racing surface. That will bring the caution flag back out. So a tough break there for the 39 rider, Zach Later, and now going to open up the door here for a little pit strategy. Some of these drivers heading down pit side, like Noah Blackwell, he's down on pit road. He's getting some work done through that 18 machine, and the 38 of Keegan Huey also down pit side, getting some work done, trying to get that car serviced and hoping trying to gain a little bit extra out there on the speedway. And for Jaden Rico, that was a great caution flag, as I do believe that's going to put him back onto the lead lap here. So for the 5 ride, the TJ's team number 5 machine of Jaden Rico now in to position number 11 on the speedway, and now back on the lead lap here, right back into the thick of things this afternoon is Brian Underwood, going to get ready for this restart with Evan Stewart there to his outside, Nick Biddy back in 3rd. We see Benjamin Romano, Jaden Porter, our top 5 out there on the speedway was Matthew Wood, back up into the 6th position, Wyatt Mickelson there in 7th, Aiden Lucas back in 8th with Joe David. Jaden Rico rounding out our top 10, Keegan Huey, Noah Blackwell, Zach Claytor. Rounding out our 13-car field here is Michael Ponder Jr. and Caden Gargiulo, both still off the speedway. As we'll get them ready to rock and roll, we'll get ready to go back to battle here at North Wilkesboro Speedway as the 77 ride of Brian Underwood leads this race. He's looking to keep all these drivers back there at bay as we'll continue on with our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume here once again as we get ready to go back to battle and back to the Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here this afternoon as Icepack says, let's go Rico. Cheering on Rico out there as well, and Caribou, hopefully I'm saying that right, coming with the broken heart there on the stream, but also cheering on that 97 ride as the 97 of Caden Gargiulo, unfortunately not out there on the racetrack any longer, back there in that 15th position, but we appreciate you coming in through the love and showing the love here and continuing to watch this amazing race. As we go back to Green Flag Racing, it is Brian Underwood looking to try to keep this race lead as we will crank it up here again on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful cranking up session right there by each and every one of these drivers, as that was the battle for the race lead, and now we see Evan Stewart getting loose out of corner number 4. Pancakes that inside fence, heavy left front damage there for that 37 ride. Now going to slide back into that 5th position as around goes the number 32 and Nick Biddy. Around goes Wyatt Mickelson and Aiden Lucas, all getting around that 37 ride, and now we see Evan Stewart down pit side and getting some heavy repairs done to that 37 machine. Looking for a fresh set of tires and hoping to get back out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, that will put him a lap down. We saw some problems there during the crank it up as well for the number 5 ride of Jaden Rico. Rico got loose out of corner number 4, just like we saw that 37 ride. He got into the inside fence, had to come down pit side. Now going to go a second lap down out there on the speedway. Tough break right there for that number 5 machine, as he is still young, learning out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, running into problems here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Not uncommon for any of the drivers out there on the racetrack, as we've seen multiple drivers, even some of our fast cats up here at the front of the field. We saw problems for this 21 ride of Matthew Wood. We saw problems for, Aiden Lucas, and already having problems for Noah Blackwell and Brian Underwood, as Underwood back there in position number 9, trying to race his way back up towards the front of the field, as during that crank it up, we saw him go around down into the infield grass, come to a stop there after leading this race and being out in front on the restart. Not the way he wanted that restart to go, and now trying to rebound from that one as the fresh tires down low. That 37 ride, he's going to be a very fast cat out there on the speedway. He's going to have virtually about 50 lap better tires than everyone else out there on the racetrack, and he's going to be able to lay down some very good lap times here, as already it seems to be about a second, almost a little bit more than a second of tire fall off here for these drivers out there on the speedway. And for Evan Stewart, that may have been his last pit stop that he may need here this evening. That could be the big play out there, as every one of these drivers may have to go down pit side, but unfortunately the caution flag will come out, and that's not what he wanted to see. The caution flag coming back out here in this one, and unfortunately for that number 37 ride, he is a lap down here, potentially even 2 laps down. May need a couple caution flags, but may be able to get the wave around right here, as it looks like he was the last driver on the lead lap. As we take a look back, we see Wyatt Mickelson and Aiden Lucas running into some problems here. So this is a battle back for position number 3 on the speedway. That's where Wyatt Mickelson was running, was in that 3rd spot. He's rolling that middle groove, the 34 ride down low, looking to get a big run, and you see that 5 ride lap traffic becoming a handful right there for them, as they come together just trying to get around this 5 ride. He's up on the high side, trying to let these guys go by, doing what you should do if you're a little slower out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, all of a sudden they're 3 wide and things close up in a quick hurry. The 51 ride has to try to get onto the binders, trying to avoid contact himself with that 5 machine. Unfortunately, Aiden Lucas, wrong place at the wrong time, as the 51 gets into the 5, comes back down the racetrack, takes that 34 ride. He almost goes airborne there on the front straightaway. Both drivers sliding sideways on the racetrack, going around backwards there, and that's where we see that caution flag come out. So the caution flag coming back out. Looks like everyone able to do a good job here, trying to get to the high side and stay out of the carnage and not trying to get tied up here in this one. And looks like just the 3 cars collected there, and that a little damage there to Jaden Rico, damage there obviously to Aiden Lucas in that 51, a Wyatt Mickelson, but the caution flag coming out unless if we see the wave around potentially going to Evan Stewart, then, he may be trapped lap down, but I do believe he has gotten that free pass. So Evan Stewart is back onto the lead lap there. A great break for that 37 right now. He's going to have to let all these drivers go around him, getting that free pass. He'll have to start at the back of the pack here and try to race his way back up through the field and back up to the front of the pack, as he was battling there with Matthew Wood for the race lead. Wood was trying to take that race lead away from him. He was trying to battle back and keep himself out in front until he went around right there. Luckily enough, doesn't seem like that's going to affect him too much out there on the racetrack. Now he is going to have about 5 to, probably about 5 or so lap older tires now than everybody, and that could be a major factor here in this one. As Caboose says, what are they running for laps before the tires and fuel? So 200 laps. I'm not sure how long the tires really last. I assume that these drivers were trying to break up that final stage and cut it in half right there and maybe extend it a little bit farther, have better tires later in the race. And you know, we saw obviously the 37 come down just past the halfway marker. Everyone there taking full advantage of that caution flag, coming back down pit side, getting those fresh tires, getting that fuel there on lap 162. Now they should be good. They just ran a 40 plus or 50, almost 60 plus lap run right there without needing fuel, so they should be good to go till the end. But the tire strategy, if one of these drivers maybe has that extra set back there behind pit wall late in this race, we see that caution flag fly, they may be able to come down pit side, throw an extra set on, and have a very fast car late in this race and try to get around the drivers that will have, you know, potentially 20, 30 lap older tires. So we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out for them here this afternoon, as Matthew Wood just laid down this race's quickest lap on the racetrack. The quickest lap was just laid there on lap number 160 something here, 169, something like that, as man, he just laid down a blazing fast lap time. And now we see the caution flag come back out as around goes the number 18, the Bad Dragon Ride, and Noah Blackwell pointed the wrong direction. We also saw the number 51 of Wyatt Mickelson potentially getting caught up in that one as well. Let's take a look back and see what happens. So the 18 right here, rolling in the third position. He was in third, steps on it right there. Lose that rear end, the car goes around, and then you see Wyatt Mickelson down through the grass right there. He was just trying to get checked up and trying to avoid getting run over as everyone was getting down to, you know, a reasonable pace into corner number 3. But unfortunately for the 18 ride, this is the second time we saw him do this. This time, able to avoid heavy contact with the outside fence and able to avoid contact all around. So a good break there for Noah Blackwell, and good break for the 51 as he was able to avoid running into that inside fence as well. Very minimal damage and tire wear to both of those drivers. And here we go. We'll get ready to go back to battle here in this one, as it's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a good time. Oh no, Brian Underwood apparently also went around here. Underwood was a little farther back. I'm not sure what had him all the way back here. Maybe another issue off that restart, but the 77 a little deeper in the field here. Let's take a look here. We may have to go back to the green flag, as we've seen that a couple times already out of the 77 ride, as well as Brian Underwood was restarting here in that 7th position. So, yeah, good track position out there on the racetrack. Had that fresh set of tires. Maybe just trying to take advantage of them a little bit too quickly out there and trying to lay down a little bit too quick of lap times out there on the racetrack. And we may see the 77 ride right here out at corner number 2. Not that time. Let's see if we can play this a little quicker forward here and see where this happens for that 77, as maybe a couple laps here actually before we see him. Oh, right here, loses that rear end down into the infield, does make some pretty hard contact that time with that inside fence. It will keep that car rolling, not unfortunately getting stumped on the racetrack or going fully around on the racing surface, and no caution flag there for that 77 machine, as Jimmy Six Time says this racing with the same driver dominating is so boring. Listen, we may have other drivers here. I'm assuming throughout the rest of the series, once the regular season gets underway, there may be some more fast cats out there on the racetrack looking to try to keep that 21 ride from finding victory lane, and we start to see some of these other guys get up here as well. Aiden Lucas, I mean, maybe more of the same story. Obviously, Matthew Wood dominating last season, obviously winning a lot of races, spending a lot of time out in front, but now the 34 ride of Aiden Lucas, he's kind of taken over that role, winning the last 4 races in a row for the points races there in the Premium NASCAR Racing League. He's trying to race his way back out in front, seeing if he can pick up the win here in the shootout here this afternoon. And more we see these caution flags, the less and less laps we see in the more of a shootout this is really becoming. As down across the line, we will see lap 175 up onto the board. Only 26 more laps left to go here this evening. 26 more laps of racing action, and it's Matthew Wood out in front. Nick Biddy into position number 2, but you see that 34 ride of Aiden Lucas. He's right there in position number 3, and he is looking to try to take that second spot away. Already looking to try to jump up into that second spot on the racetrack and trying to see if he can go after that 16 machine of Matthew Wood. Now, there's still quite a bit of laps. There could still be a little bit of strategy to play out there on the speedway, and especially with another caution flag coming out, potentially one of these drivers having fresher tires down pit wall, behind pit wall, could potentially use it to their advantages. Oh no, tough break here. Evan Stewart in the AG's Designs number 37 ride. Gonna run into problems here. Looks like some contact there out of corner number 2, and unfortunately, the 6 rider, Joe David, gonna get in there and get a piece of him right here. Kind of just right hooks him up into the outside fence. Obviously, the 6 ride on the outside lane, 37 down low, and just looks like the 6 gonna lose that rear end like we've seen so many drivers have problems with already this afternoon. This time, though, he comes down the racetrack and into that right rear quarter panel of the 37, spins him up into the outside fence. Heavy damage there for that Majors Garage. AG's Designs number 37, and more damage there down into corner number 3 as the 38 of Keegan Huey up into the outside fence there. I'm not sure what happens if he gets a helping hand here. Doesn't look like it. Looks like the 38 just gets loose after cutting down the racetrack, trying to avoid those spun-out race cars. Unfortunately, the car just hooks back up the racetrack and into the outside fence. And unfortunately for the Lincoln Park number 38 ride, the From Zero machine, definitely not the way he wanted that one to go, and now has heavy right-side damage of his own to try to get repaired before going back to Green Flag Racing. As here we go, we will get ready to go back to battle here in this one as Matthew Wood leads the way. Each and every one of these drivers looking for a way to get back around him and looking to keep that Racers for Christ 21 ride out of victory lane here in our shootout with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, as the pace car will make the hard left-hand turn down out of corner number 4 through the Geico restart zone. We will go back to battle here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Matthew Wood back onto the lap pedal, looking to try to separate himself from the rest of the field, as here comes Biddy, here comes Lucas, trying to hunt him down, but trying to duke it out between each other as they battle for position number 2 on the speedway. You do see Aiden Lucas getting a great run down out at corner number 4, able to jump up and just barely clear that 32 ride, but Nick Biddy, he's not done yet, and the carnage is not done yet either, as the caution flag will come back out. Looks like more issues here for the 38 ride of Keegan Huey. Looks like Huey out of corner number 4. That car already sideways. He's going to go around. Unfortunately, it looks like maybe a little damage there for that 74 ride of Jaden Porter. Porter might have got a little piece of him right there. And unfortunately, the caution flag will fly once again. You can see that 38 trying to get up through the gears. I do believe that right front after the contact there into the outside fence after the last caution flag. I think that's what's really affecting this car. If you take a look at that right front tire, it is not pointed in the right direction. It's very skewed out there. It's skewed pretty good out there on that car, and you can see that damage on that Lincoln Park machine. Definitely heavy right front damage, and he's going to have to try to get that repaired. He may have to make a trip down pit side and see if the team can go to work and get that thing figured out and see if that can help that car out, as that's probably the cause of why he spun it down through corner number 4. Definitely going to make that thing that much tougher to drive out there on the speedway, and unfortunately running into another problem, bringing that caution flag back out as he did take that car down pit side. But we saw Aiden Lucas able to jump up and take that second spot before the yellow flag was thrown. So Aiden will now start to the outside of the 21 of Matthew Wood. Wood going to try to hold him off. Aiden Lucas going to try to put himself back up into victory lane and try to make it 5 wins in a row that he's been a part of here on Peacemaker Gaming, as he missed out on last night's race and his opportunity there to win the 5 in a row with the Premium Stock Car Racing League. Luckily enough, no points on the line, so no harm, no foul, and he will try that 5-peat next Saturday night. But here tonight on Peacemaker Gaming, he's looking for the 5 here in this one as CCDN, I'm not sure if that's Canadian Esports Series, coming in showing the love, says just no luck tonight. Laugh out loud. That's a tough one out there. Tough one for you. I do believe that is Evan Stewart coming in, showing the love over there on the YouTube broadcast. As Matthew Wood down out of corner number 4. We'll see that green flag fly. A good restart quickly clears that 34, but here comes Aiden Lucas. Lucas looking to his outside, but a big drive off of corner number 2 for the 21 ride, and he will clear him and stay out in front. Everyone trying to race their way up to the front of the field here late in this race as the 9 rider Benjamin Romano look to the outside there of Nick Biddy. Biddy gets a good run. Out of corner number 4 as the 9 ride pushed up a little too high right there. Unfortunately, now in a battle trying to keep himself in position number 4, but contact around he goes, and Noah Blackwell unfortunately tied up in that one. No luck here for Blackwell as the yellow flag will fly here once again as the 9. Watch Romano coming out of corner number 2. Time and time again, we've seen this here this afternoon. These things getting very loose on corner exit, back onto the throttle. They are very loose. Unfortunately, comes down into the 18 ride, spinning Blackwell around. Hard contact into the outside fence for both of these drivers as the 39, the 77, the 51, and the 74 ride all trying to avoid these guys. And look how narrow that was between the 74 getting tied up in this one. Jaden Porter just missing that wreck right there, man. That was a close call. Probably a little too close for comfort for the 74 as he was just able to keep himself from getting tied up here in this one. 2 cars turned around right in front of him, and look, oh baby, that was too close. Oh man, he may need a new pair of pants here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. They may have to get him a towel or something when he gets out of that race car, because my gosh, that was a little too close for comfort for that Sim Racing Center number 74 machine. We'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing as Blackwell down pit side trying to get that car repaired. Same with Keegan Huey and the 37 of Evan Stewart. As tough break there for all 3 of those drivers. Tough damage here late in this race as Canadian Esports Series says, yeah, it's Evan. I thought I was on my regular account. It's all good, brother. It's all good. It doesn't matter which account you're on, as long as you're in here watching, cheering these guys on, and showing the love and the support here to the broadcast, and you know, dropping those comments, man. Every single like, comment, share helps push the stream out to more and more viewers and more people to be in the crowd to cheer these drivers on, to see our amazing sponsors that make this series possible, and to see all these amazing drivers out there making these races and these broadcasts so much fun out there on the racetrack. As here we go, another late race caution flag here, as Original Day says, shaking my head, Evan, laugh my hands off. Yeah, shake your head, shake your head. What in the world, Evan? How dare you not be on your regular account? How dare you, brother? I'm just kidding. We're just messing with you, my boy. As we'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. The lights are once again off the official iRacing safety vehicle here on the Speedway. The pace car will head back down pit side here and unleash this field again this evening. As out in front, only 10 laps left to go here. When we go back to Green Flag Racing, only 10 laps of racing action left here. There's not a whole lot of cars still left out there on the racetrack, but that is going to open up the door for these drivers to try to find some extra speed, some extra room to maneuver around the racetrack. And right now you see that 34 ride trying to hunt down our race leader, as out in front Matthew Wood looking to try to pick up the checkered flag here today, as the 21 down across the line will click off another lap. 9 more to go here from North Wilkesboro Speedway, as GV says, man, I did not have a good race. Unfortunate break out there for you, GV. Unfortunate break. There's a lot of drivers that I feel didn't have a great run here this afternoon, getting tied up in some definitely some tough issues out there on the Speedway. This is a tough racetrack, and it's a good one for a shootout. If this was a points race, it would be that much worse, because you'd be giving up a lot of points, having problems out there on the racetrack, and we've seen too many cars get tore up. And once again, we see another caution flag here, as we did see Joe David go off the racetrack here, as he's working down low underneath that 5 ride, just pushed up the racetrack, then loses the rear end. The 18 ride gonna help him out there a little bit, gives him a shot in the shorts as he was trying to get that car checked up, trying to keep it pointing in the right direction. The 18 not realizing that he was going to get, that slow, and unfortunately making the contact there, helping that 6 ride around. Now, that wasn't the caution flag, but we did see, I do believe, the number 5 here of Jaden Rico potentially getting turned. There you go. Benjamin Romano, the 5 ride, get tied together. Around goes that 5 car right in front of our flag man. He gets a great look at it and quickly throws that caution flag, as you see the Majors Garage 37 of Evan Stewart still down pit side. Same with that 38 of Keegan Huey. And here we go, another late race restart. This is going to get that much interesting, as G6 times says, the dude is toxic. The dude is toxic. Oh, gosh. Ben drives below the speed limit and still wrecks in real life. Oh, no. Oh, no. Who's Ben? Oh, Benjamin. He's toxic, he says. He's toxic. Yeah, Benjamin, he's had a tough one here in this one. Obviously, that was a tough break right there for him and that five ride as they got tied together. But out in front with only a few laps left to go here in this race, we did see Jaden Porter run into some problems here. He started around putting the backwards here on the racetrack, and there is the caution flag coming back out here in this one. So it looks like we're going to potentially a green-white checkered here, ladies and gentlemen. And green-white checkered here this afternoon as the AG's Designs number 74 car, that Sim Racing Center machine, going for a ride here out of corner number 4. I do believe he got tied up. Actually, the 5 ride getting into him right here of Jaden Rico. Looks like he's just got that front end damaged. Car pushes up the racetrack, unfortunately. Just gives enough of a love tap right there to get that car loose and a little light on its feet. Unfortunately, it's just going to step around, go around on Jaden there. He gets a little bit of damage getting into that inside wall and then trying to get this car pointed back in the right direction, trying to avoid even more damage here for himself as he gets himself pointed back in the right direction, and we will get him stacked up, racked up, and ready to try to go back to green flag racing here once again. As Matthew Wood out in front looking for another big restart, knowing that this is the money maker right here. You need to be good on these restarts. You need to try to get that launch and try to keep these drivers from getting to your outside or to your inside down that back straightaway. For Aiden Lucas, he needs to try to get a good jump here. He needs to try to stay there door to door with that 21 ride, especially down the backstretch and into quarter number 3 if he really wants to have a shot at racing that 21 ride for the win here this afternoon. I think if Matthew Wood gets single file out there on the racetrack, bidding a little bit of a bump and run out there on the racetrack, which I don't think we'll see out of Aiden Lucas, but maybe any one of these other drivers back there may not want to hold up, and they may give that bump and run late in this race to the 21 ride, keep him out of victory lane, and potentially put themselves up into that victory lane themselves here. We'll have to wait and see if the bump and run becomes an option, or if we'll see some door-to-door racing for the race win here this afternoon. Is green-white checkered finish no better fitting way to start this series as the preseason shootout, going to a little bit of extra racing here. I do believe an extra couple laps for a little bit of overtime and a green-white checkered. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You came here for a show. Well, here you go. It's a late race restart in green-white checkered finish here in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. As Matthew Wood and Aiden Lucas get ready to go back to green flag racing, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe buttons. Here we go. Down in the corner number 4. A great launch right there for Matthew Wood. Exactly what he needed. As now the 34 of Aiden Lucas trying to hold these other drivers back there at bay. Here comes the 39. Zach Clayton looking to try to jump up into position number 2. Nick Biddy right there as well as they battle back here for that second spot. The 21 ride will round corner number 4 and see that white flag fly. So the next flag will end this race no matter what, as Aiden Lucas sits back there in position number 2, still trying to keep that 39 ride back there at bay. Unfortunately, none of them within striking distance of the back bumper of that 21, as Matthew Wood out of 4 will pick up the checkered flag and win our preseason shootout here with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. What a run and what a drive as they're going to wreck after the checkered flag here. But the Racers for Christ 21 ride of Matthew Wood will find victory lane. Aiden Lucas will come home in second, and the 39 of Zachary Clayton, after getting destroyed down through quarter 1 and 2. I don't know if that was frustrations boiling over or drivers just trying to have a little fun out there on the racetrack, but that car is definitely hurting now, and unfortunately a third place finish in a tore up race car here for that Aaron's 39 ride. As Matthew Wood on the front straightaway, he's going to get ready to burn down the house here after picking up the checkered flag. He's going to create a little damage on that car here himself as he hits up into the outside fence, but he's going to get ready to party here after picking up a big win here in our preseason shootout with the Wheel-to-Wheel Two-Wheel Racing League. Huge shout out here to all these amazing drivers who showed up and showed out this afternoon to put on this great racing action for us. Is now the 21 and the 9 rider, Benjamin Romano, who was able to come home in 5th there for that number 9 machine. Gonna celebrate there a little bit with the 21 ride as they're gonna enjoy this win, potentially teammates here in this league, and gonna party out there on the racetrack. As man, what a run and what a drive here for Matthew Wood as the Racers for Christ, number 21, gets it done and pulls himself up and into victory lane. We'll get ready to pull all 3 of these drivers into the broadcast booth for some post-race interviews. Post-race interviews coming up here in just a couple seconds, so don't go anywhere as we'll get words in here with all of our finishers, here, or all 3 of our top 3 here this afternoon. As Original Day says, fantastic finish, great racing, great battles out there on the racetrack, and no better fitting driver to put himself up into victory lane here in our preseason shootout than Matthew Wood as he's still celebrating. Let's see if he can get this number 21 up into the North Wilkesboro Speedway victory lane. I do believe he has found it here. There it is. It's just kind of down off the back straightaway. He's trying to get through the fence right there. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to be able to get through that fence or not, and he's going to continue to celebrate. Hopefully, he'll jump up into the Discord here in just a second. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our race winner, Matthew Wood. I don't have permissions to drag. So I'm just going to have to join that channel. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Hello, buddy.
Not much, Matthew, man. What a run, what a drive here. And it seems like it's been a long time since we saw you up here in Victory Lane. Laugh out loud, JK. We saw you up here last night, and now we see you back up here again this Sunday afternoon, man. Take us back through this race. It's a bit of a wild one, obviously running into some problems there yourself out there on the racetrack, but being able to rebound nicely, have the right strategy, and now trying to put yourself up here into the North Wilkesboro Speedway Victory Lane. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get through that fence or not, but you're definitely trying to find your way in there.
I'm just going to park it right in front of the sign. I can't get through that fence. I was looking for that, but yeah, I'm usually always saying, you know, this car is not my forte. I don't like this car. I'm sure you've even heard me say it. Yeah, I completely forgot this was tonight, or I would have had that camera up and I would have actually had it fixed, unlike last night. But yeah, it was honestly pretty cool to run this car. I had a few pretty bad mistakes, like trying to miss that one wreck, and self-spinning, trying to pass Biddy, but I was fully expecting Lucas to just mop the floor with me. I mean, he's very, very quick in this car, and I thought I sucked in the car, and I figured out that I was just being too cautious with it. I could get more out of the throttle, get on throttle earlier. I was hitting brake too much, just small things that you feel in the car, and it's hard to realize that at first, but once I got it down, I was pretty quick, and thankfully I was able to get up there and finally pass Biddy, and challenge up there for the win. So I was able to hold off Aiden, and didn't think I was going to be able to, but he got caught on that last restart. So just happy to be here.
Absolutely a tough break there for Aiden. Obviously, a lot of late race restarts, and you're so good, so quick there, getting back onto the throttle, keeping those drivers back there behind you on their tippy toes. And unfortunately for the 34 ride here this afternoon, Aiden just really wasn't able to find that speed and put himself into position late in this race to jump up and potentially, take that win away from you here. Not enough time left in that race. Obviously, the green-white checkered, and you're able to just hit your marks on those restarts and keep yourself out in front.
Yeah, definitely. I think he had the pace to fight with me, but once I figured it out, I was running very, very quick lap times after I had spun trying to catch Biddy, and it was just passing people was the problem. But yeah, just thank NJB Designs again for all the paint schemes he's made me. Thank Evan and Jaden for putting this on for us, and if Aiden has a part, I don't know how high up Aiden is. I'm pretty sure he's pretty high up, but you for coming over here and broadcast, and thank the Lord for what he's done for me and for what he always will, and thank my family and friends who watch.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matthew, congrats on the win here this afternoon in our preseason shootout here with the always amazing Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, and we hope to see you out there for our season opener next Sunday and potentially right back up here in Victory Lane.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner here this evening, as I don't have permissions to drag people here in this one. So I can't move drivers around. I can't pull them in and out of the Discord here, so that's going to be rough. And right now I do only see Ian Lucas left in this broadcast booth. So let's see if we can pull in Aiden here real quick. Let's see if we can jump up there. Him and Evan are chilling together. Let's see if I have permissions up there. I don't have permissions in there either to join their Discord. So I can't get our second place driver, Aiden Lucas, in here. I don't have permissions to drag people, unfortunately. I wish I did, but I do not. So let me see if I can maybe quickly message. Let me see if I can jump into one of the open chats here. Let's see.
He was pissed.
Yeah, I just didn't have it on him.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. We do have Aiden Lucas now into
got
the
it,
Discord here with us. Aiden, do you get a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Not too bad. Aiden, man, another strong run, another strong performance here for you in this race. Unfortunately, there a lot of late race caution flags. You just couldn't quite find the longer run drive that you were looking for there to go to work and try to find your way around that 21 of Matthew Wood here in this race, man. Take us back through it and what's going through your mind right now.
Oh yeah, no, Matthew, he had really great short run speed to kind of hold the field off with those cautions. But that's something you expect racing Matthew every week. So, but good race for us for being our first race. Felt like it was pretty clean at the start, and just hope we can clean it up for next week.
Absolutely, brother. Definitely looking to clean it up. Obviously, a very tough racetrack. Pretty tough race cars out there, as we saw a lot of drivers losing the rear ends out there. Obviously, stepping onto that gas. These cars seem to be light on their toes when you come out of the corners here, especially at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Not a lot of traction, and we saw a lot of drivers running into those problems here this afternoon, man. Take us through kind of a lap around this racetrack and what it feels like out there on the Speedway.
Yeah, you have no grip going into the corner. You have no grip leaving the corner. You're just praying that you can find something and throttle down on both ends. It's a challenging racetrack, and it's a challenging car too, because these cars feel pretty dead.
Absolutely. Well, you're able to kind of rebound here after getting tied up in a few instances out there on the Speedway. And you parked that 34 right up here on the podium again in position number 2. Obviously, looking for the 5 in a row on the Peacemaker broadcast here. Not able to quite complete that here in this one, but still looking for that 5 in a row over in the Premium Stock Car Racing League. But also looking to get off to a hot start here in this season, man. How are you feeling going into that first race, knowing that you are going to be a tough competitor here in another league?
Yeah, I just want to have the league start pretty cleanly, and just get some good clean races in, get some numbers up, and we'll have a lot of fun here.
Absolutely. Well, Aiden, a solid run, a solid drive, and a great second place finish here in our preseason shootout with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. Who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance again here this afternoon?
I want to thank all the admin team over here. They do a really good job at getting this thing going and getting it launched. So hopefully it's a good launch.
Absolutely. Well, Aiden, congrats on that second place run here this evening, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Saturday and next Sunday here when our season opener starts here for the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League.
Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Well, now that we're in the Discord here all together, we do have Evan Stewart in here. Evan was the one that got a hold of me, got things rolling here to be the broadcaster here for the series, and we see Jaden Porter in here as well. Now, I know you guys probably all working together trying to make this series possible, man. Take us through, how it feels to be finally live and having all these guys out there on the racetrack having some fun.
It's definitely different. Because as you can see, we do have a F1 side in here on console, which is a lot easier to recruit for. There's not a whole lot of money involved, and you don't have to advertise a whole lot because we all have grown up racing together. But for the guys that have joined, they're good racers. We race with them in other leagues. Some, I think 3 or 4 of them I found off an ad, and they really impressed tonight. So the big thing is let's have clean racing and just have fun, make some friends.
Yeah, absolutely having some fun, enjoying your time on the simulator, and making those relationships and friendships out there on the racetrack always a bonus as well. And seeing so many great drivers come together, making this race tonight possible. I'm sure we're going to see even more hard-nosed competitors battling out there next Sunday night. Man, it seems like it's going to be a great season, a great year, and I look forward to being the broadcaster up here in the booth putting on these shows.
I really definitely appreciate you doing that for us.
Absolutely, brother. Well, fellas, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I don't see Zach in the Discord anymore, so I can't pull him in for a post-race interview, but, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you guys back out there on the racetrack next Sunday.
Yes, sir. You have a good one,
Appreciate it.
Baker.
Absolutely, fellas. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there as Aiden Lucas coming home in second. Zach Claytor coming home in position number 3. Claytor having a great run there in that 39 ride. Able to come home in that 3rd spot, but it's Matthew Wood who picks up the checkered flag and parks himself up in the North Wilkesboro Speedway victory lane here this evening. Unfortunately, that will do it for us here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys back here in the next one. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays, and we'll see you guys back in here tomorrow night for some more racing action. Peace out, baby. Woo! What a run, what a race, what a gosh heckin' drive out there for Matthew Wood. That was a lot of fun.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle feast on chaos, flavor grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and money. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory day sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running on the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle feast on chaos, flavor grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's the trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and money. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Hit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.